Everything was all quiet on the Anthony Davis front leading up to the 2019 NBA trade deadline, at least until it wasn't. On Monday, Jan. 28, many fans woke up to the news that Davis's agent, Paul of Klutch Sports, had informed the New Orleans Pelicans that the superstar forward that he wants to be traded and has no intention of re-signing with the Pelicans, per Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, despite the fact that all signs pointed to Davis staying put with the Pelicans for now. Prior to this report, this changes everything. The request for a trade comes just 10 days before the 2019 NBA trade deadline, leaving plenty of time to get a deal done and adding to the always frenetic build-up to the deadline. Wojnarowski added to his report regarding the trade request as Paul said that Davis wants to land on a contender. That most certainly limits the potential partners that the Pelicans could speak to in regards to a potential trade. At the same time, however, that request does not preclude them from seeking out the best deal and talking to teams who aren't contenders. When it comes to trading an all-NBA player like Anthony Davis, the team sending him out has to look out for their best interests. In essence, they need to limit the amount of long-term damage done by losing a player of Davis's caliber by getting the best package in return that they can get, whether that consists of established players, young assets or draft capital. There's no doubt that virtually every team will look to make a run at Davis if possible at the NBA trade deadline. Having said that, let's take a look at the best deals the Pelicans can make in regards to what they can get in return. If Anthony Davis wants to land on a contender, then the Golden State Warriors are unquestionably a destination that would make sense to him. Coming off of 4 straight trips to the NBA Finals, 2 straight titles and 3 championships in the last 4 years, the Warriors are at the top of the upper echelon of the NBA hierarchy. As the Warriors are already loaded with stars with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant and even DeMarcus Cousins, and Golden State trading for Davis would truly be the rich getting richer. Having said that, it would make sense for them as it pertains to Draymond Green. Ever the enigma, Green's performance this season has dipped and he's far less of an asset to the Warriors than he has been in years past. Even still, Green has solid trade value and could be used to get Davis to the Bay Area. In truth, this isn't close to the best package that the Pelicans could get in return for Davis, as the first-round picks that Golden State would send aren't likely to be valuable given their dominance that's only likely to continue over the next half-decade. While that may be true, they could still end up with a nice haul from the Warriors should a deal like this materialize. How Green would perform on a team that's not set up like Golden State is a virtual crapshoot, but it's a risk that New Orleans could be willing to take. Moreover, Jordan Bell has shown flashes of being a nice young player, while Sean Livingston is nothing more than veteran cap filler to make the money work. Again, this isn't the ideal package for the Pelicans, but they wouldn't be getting fleeced either. Page 2 BOSTON, MA, January 31st, Kristaps Porzingis. Note to user. User expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Mandatory copyright notice. Copyright 2018 NBA photo by Brian Babino, NBA via Getty Images. Let's address the elephant in the room regarding potentially trading Anthony Davis to the New York Knicks. The Knicks are not a contender and, frankly, aren't that close as currently constituted. While that may be true, the Knicks are an outlier in regards to their brand as a franchise and the opportunity to play in New York. Plus, being the savior for the Knicks is always floated as something that players could find attractive, even if it doesn't fit in Davis's parameters of wanting to be traded to a contender. Even more interesting is the fact that the Knicks have assets that could be potentially valuable to the Pelicans in regards to setting up their franchise well moving forward. It would take New York giving up their current cornerstone, but that's something that they might be willing to do if it means landing Davis. Including Kristaps Porzingis in a trade for Davis is perhaps the biggest wild card that could be thrown into the mix. On one hand, the 23-year-old Knicks star has proven to be a potential game-changer when healthy, but he's not healthy right now as he continues to rehab from a torn ACL suffered last season. Per Ian Begley of ESPN, he will be re-evaluated in mid-February, but a timetable for his return is not yet set. Even still, adding Porzingis would be massive for the Pelicans, especially if he can return to full health and continue progressing. Throw in an intriguing prospect in Mitchell Robinson, Enes Kanter's expiring contract and a first-round pick that will likely be a lottery pick. That looks nice for New Orleans to start rebuilding in the wake of losing Davis. Next 3. Los Angeles Lakers. Page 3. Salt Lake City, Utah, January 11th. Lonzo Ball. User expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Gene Sweeney Jr., Getty Images. No team has the buzz regarding potentially landing Anthony Davis in a trade than the Los Angeles Lakers. Even prior to the report on Monday, Jan. 28, there was constant chatter regarding the possibility of the LeBron James-led Lakers making a run at the Pelican superstar leading up to the NBA trade deadline. That's only going to intensify now that Davis is officially being made available after requesting a trade. Having said that, the Lakers can't offer the most attractive package of any team that could potentially be interested in Davis. They have a collection of young assets and, lo and behold, draft capital to offer New Orleans in a potential trade, without question. It's just not at the level of other possible packages. The Pelicans could still get a nice little haul from the Lakers, though. There's no questioning the fact that Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball are the premier young assets that the Lakers have to offer the Pelicans, with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope needing to be thrown into the deal to make the money work. As for the young forward and guard, both are still exceptionally young with a high ceiling, but there is increasing doubt about how likely is that either Ingram or Ball will reach their ceiling. Because of the young players' dubious futures and upside, the Lakers would likely have to throw in 2 first-round picks, 2019 and 2021, to make a trade with the Pelicans happen. Given what a team with James and Davis could accomplish, those aren't the most valuable picks, but they sweeten the pot a bit and help New Orleans land more assets moving forward without their star. Page 4. Boston, Massachusetts, January 23, Jason Tatum. Note to user expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Matty Meyer, Getty Images. Few teams in the NBA have collected assets in recent years as well as the Boston Celtics. General Manager Danny Ainge has done a phenomenal job of not only building a tremendous roster full of both talented veterans and young players but also collecting draft capital to be in the mix for any big trade that could arise, such as a deal that would land them Anthony Davis. Having said that, the Celtics are hamstrung at the 2019 NBA trade deadline in regards to a Davis trade as they cannot have 2 players signed under the Rose Rule under contract at the same time. Kyrie Irving qualifies in that regard, so having Davis and Irving on the Celtics in 2019 would be illegal under the current CBA, and that's a big if Boston were willing to deal Irving. Here's what a possible trade to land Davis would look like. However, the more likely scenario for the Celtics would be waiting until the 2019 offseason where Irving can opt out of his current deal and then re-sign in Boston, thus opening up the possibility for a Davis trade that would not include the All-Star guard. In that scenario, here's what the Pelicans could get in return. This is one of the best-case scenarios for the Pelicans. New Orleans could land 2 stud young prospects in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to build with in addition to getting a first-round pick from the Celtics. Marcus Smart is thrown in to make the money work, but if the Pelicans do wait until the off-season, this is an attractive option for them. Next, 1. Philadelphia 76ers. Page 5. PHILDELPHIA, January 21, Joel Embiid. The 76ers defeated the Rockets 121-93. Note to user. User expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Mitchell left Getty Images. The one trade that the Pelicans should be looking at leading up to the 2019 NBA trade deadline is one with the Philadelphia 76ers. There are going to be numerous trade packages that the Sixers could send to New Orleans, most of them including former No. 1 overall pick Markelle Fultz in an attempt for him to salvage his career on a new team after an injury-plagued and tumultuous start in the NBA. Having said that, many of those trade packages are going to be heavy on draft capital, which Philadelphia has plenty of. Instead, though, the absolute best package that the Pelicans could potentially get is one that would nab them one of the 76ers' young stars in addition to Fultz and some draft capital. Trading Ben Simmons to the Pelicans would most certainly send major waves throughout the NBA, but it would be worth it. As good as Simmons is, and despite his youth and the potential for improvement that brings, chances are that he's not going to be a top player in the league in the way that Davis is. Plus, pairing Davis and Joel Embiid on the interior would create an unbelievably versatile two-way force in the front court in Philadelphia. In return, New Orleans would be getting a stud young player in Simmons, a shot in the dark in Fultz, cap filler in Wilson Chandler on an expiring contract, and then a future unprotected first-round pick that could be quite valuable given the uncertain future of the Miami Heat. Next, every NBA team's Mount Rushmore. Who knows if the Sixers would truly be willing to part with Simmons in an effort to add Anthony Davis. However, it's within the realm of possibility, and, in terms of what the best the Pelicans can do in trading away their superstar forward, this deal would set them up best for the future.